VR is more than what people think it is. It can be everything.
The weirdest thing to get used to if you're still listening out there, VRC.
This has really changed my mind and my feelings a lot about where we're at in VR. I'm not gonna come out of this experience exactly the same person. We're at the end of day 6 here, which means we've technically reached the halfway point. People's avatars were starting to seem like real. It's starting to become like a home in here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done.
So a lot of you out there had a really interesting idea to me. You were saying we just reached 10K. What if you did 10 days straight in virtual reality? This was something that really intrigued me. As a virtual reality lover, I've only spent limited amounts of time in VR. I've spent, 4 hours for a podcast, maybe 8 hours for a live stream. I honestly feel like VR isn't quite at the point where you can spend your whole life in it. I think that's something that would be a great challenge for the channel, a great challenge for myself to see. Is it possible to spend 10 days in the metaverse as we know it? So what are the rules? I'm gonna live in VR for 10 straight days. I'm gonna eat in VR. I'm gonna sleep in VR. I'm gonna go to the bathroom in VR. The only exception that I'm allowing myself, I'm gonna shower outside of VR. I don't wanna ruin my Quest 2. I don't have an extra Quest 2 to just put another one on if I end up getting too much water in it. So I will allow myself up to 2 30-minute breaks every day for showering. That means it comes off, the timer stops, and be running a timer of how long we've been in VR. And that's the plan. I'm gonna always have a headset on. I'm gonna always be streaming, which is another big part of this that I've never done. My whole life is gonna be broadcast in front of everybody, which I'm a little nervous about, to be honest with you. I've never slept on stream, which to me, I know some people do that. That seems really freaking weird. I don't know if anybody's even gonna be there to see that I'm sleeping, but these will all be saved on YouTube automatically so that if anybody after the fact wants to go back and see, the streams are all there. You can see that we really did this. It was really legit. Obviously, you won't be able to see when I'm in the bathroom, but the bathroom's right here. People out there at this point are probably asking, why the hell are you doing this? I wanna learn more about VR. I love VR. VR is my life, but I've never spent that much time in it. I wanna know, are we at a point where this is possible? So part of this is also gonna be meeting other people, having other experiences and learning, is it possible to exercise, to socialize, to work, to obviously game, we know that one, to have fun? Can all this stuff already happen in VR as it stands? I don't know. We're gonna learn it all together. This is gonna be a long 10 days. I can't imagine what's coming.
Hey, pro's already here. First in. What's up, buddy? Hey, Fcom1 made it in here too. What's up, Klumu? Good to see you here, bud.
For the 10 days in VR, I had the plan of, let's try to stick to a daily routine. I figured if I didn't have that, everything was gonna fall apart and it's gonna be really difficult. So my first priority every morning after I got up and ate some sort of horrible breakfast, usually cereal, because I needed something easy, I said, okay, the next thing after that was gonna be exercise. It ended up being Beat Saber pretty much every single day. I had all these ambitions of like, oh, I'll do Supernatural and I'll try Thrill of the Fight and all these things. It ended up just being Beat Saber because we were also streaming it all. So people wanted to play stuff together, do stuff with me. After that, I usually would want to hold out for lunch. Already by lunchtime, I was looking for a break in the monotony of just being in VR and talking to the stream. So luckily Nat, my amazing wife, usually made lunch every day for me. I'd eat lunch, and then the afternoon kind of became like me time. I needed a little bit of a break from stuff, so it would either be some simple games, single player games, get to dinner, and then after dinner it was like, okay, let's do some multiplayer stuff, some social stuff with everybody from the community who wanted to join, and then let's get ready for bed. I've gone about 10 and a half hours in the headset, and I've got to say, it's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. The worst part actually is the times when I have to switch to the Quest 2 like I am right now for the pass-through. It's like black and white and it's kind of milky, it doesn't look very good. Almost instantly, trying to maintain that sort of vision of the world, I got really agitated. I don't know if it was some very slim little bit of sim sickness or something that was setting in, but I could not stand doing that. I had to get a chat window up or something in there that looked right, that looked correct, and then I felt fine. Weirdly, there wasn't a point in the 10 days where I thought, oh, I want this to end, but anytime I was doing that in the beginning, there were times where I was starting to think, oh gosh, am I gonna be able to do this? It wasn't because of the VR or the streaming, it was because of that aspect it was giving me of the world was really messing with my head. I think the 10 days is gonna be achievable, but I feel like getting to day 3 is probably gonna be the hard stretch. Time is already lost on me. I almost feel like worried about like all these things I thought I was gonna do during this, like, am I gonna run out of time? Each day I do feel like I'm waiting for the next meal, the next sleep, the next whatever. There's so many things that I'm experiencing right now that I've never done, you know? I've never streamed my whole life for 10 days straight. I've never stayed in a single room for 10 days straight. I have never had every action I'm doing in front of people. I've never talked on chat constantly all day for 10 days straight. So it's a huge life change beyond just the VR, but the VR is actually the easy part. I feel like if I wasn't doing this on camera, this wouldn't actually be that hard. I really thought going into this day 3 was gonna be like the hardest to get to. It's been simple. People are definitely showing up in chat, worrying about my eyes. I think there is a lot of mystery and myth still around what VR does to your eyes. The early studies that we've seen, people have found that it's actually less damaging to be in VR than to like look at a phone all day, because looking at a phone or even a computer monitor, it's flat and it's close. VR simulates distance, so your eyes still get the same exercise of seeing things close, seeing things far. I can say so far, my eyes have not had a problem at all. I think this will prove to some people, you know, I don't know how many people hear about this, but I think this will help dispel some of the rumors that VR is still bad for you or still dangerous. And I hope that more studies are done on it because, you know, we need to know for people who really want to spend this kind of time. So far, I feel incredible. The only things that are starting to have a little difficulty, the skin on my face, on my cheeks, and on my forehead, where the facial interface is always resting, getting sweaty in the morning with Beat Saber, and then putting the same thing back on, even if I wash it. The skin is not super happy there at the moment. I haven't been able to pull the headset off and see if I have any acne breaking out, but I'm kind of scared I'm gonna have an acne line all around where the headset was on my face. If I wasn't live streaming all this, if I wasn't constantly talking to people, this might feel worse, actually. Like if I was just alone in VR all day, I might just be mostly playing single player games. I might be off, you know, in Minecraft all day and all night, and it might get lonely doing this too much. But I feel like I'm talking to more people than I ever do. I think it's a good thing to remember about VR, that people think it's this solitary thing where you're alone, pulled away from all the people you love. There's some truth to you might be away from your direct family, but there are all these other people you're spending time with, you're hanging out with, so you don't ever feel alone as long as you are playing it that way. VR is more than what people think it is. It can be everything. It can be socializing, it can be exercise, it can be just chilling on your own and playing a game. We have the ability to do whatever we want with it. Today is the end of day 4. We spent time today doing a lot more social stuff because a lot of people are off work and things. We went into PokerStars VR for the first time. I'd never been in that. It was a bit of a nightmare. Quite a casino simulation though. I didn't realize that they could really pull off the feel and the lack of excitement that a casino brings into your life. They did a really good job with making it really feel like a real awful casino. Spent some more time hanging out in Rec Room, played another round of D-Meal with Nat, that's been so nice to have the options at least. Because even though I'm alone in this, we still can spend time together doing the things we love together, and it doesn't really feel like we're that far apart. Even if she's in another room, it feels like we're playing a board game together on a Saturday night. I am starting to look forward to the end of the tunnel. And I also really started to miss Nat, you know, like, she'd be there for lunch when she made lunch, but I was still talking to stream. I felt like I just wasn't giving her enough of me. So it kind of became the perfect excuse for both. It's like, okay, let's shut off chat for a while. I'll go sit with her, spend some time with her, and it'll give me a little bit of a mental break. People seem to understand that, luckily, but I was a little worried people would come on and be like, oh, why is he ignoring us? Well, I put up a note, wifey time. I love streaming, but there's a reason I don't do it 24 hours a day. You know, you need that time away to kind of recharge, re-energize. We are here at the end of day 5, which means we are nearing the halfway point. I feel like VR is at a point where you could actually live your life in it. I did not think before this started that I would think that. I thought I might actually stop day 1. But like, if you were in VR in real life, you're not gonna be going to the bathroom in VR. You're not gonna be eating at least too often in VR. You're not gonna be sleeping in VR. But if you wanted to spend all day from the moment you woke up till the moment you went to bed in VR, hanging out with people, working, doing your thing, it's totally possible right now. I'm shocked by this revelation. I really thought that I would come out of this saying this was the worst thing I'd ever done. I don't know what I was thinking. And so far, I've actually found that the time flies by. Every day I have all these things that I want to do with the community and with the people. Yeah, I end up running out of time every single day. I'm having more fun in games with people and doing stuff than I've had in a long time. It's really changed my mind about actually where we're at in VR, and there are people out there I know of that, spend massive amounts of time in it, and I'm starting to understand those people more. I think I'm opening up my mind a lot more to what VR can actually be.
But here, you can literally do anything, and on the fly, you can create. It's absolutely insane.
Snow? Oh, that one's cool.
Later. There you go. There you go. Hi, buddy. We're gonna go catch you on the flip side. See ya.
Bye.
Oh.
Now he's getting shot into the stratosphere.
What I found was the real problem was the day that I went into Neos with Skiva and the crew from that podcast. They were in a further ahead time zone, so I couldn't do my morning exercise that I had been doing every day. And that day was actually one of the worst feeling days I had all along, because I didn't keep my routine. I didn't get the exercise I needed to in the morning. And I just remember all day feeling like I was off, like I was struggling with it more than the other day.
I still haven't taken a shower. I would kind of like to go do that.
And I thought, oh crap, is this gonna be the rest of this?
We're at the end of day 6 here, which means we've technically reached the halfway point. Days are confusing. Time at this point is confusing. I've found the days are a balance of looking forward to the next break from the monotony, yet always feeling like I don't have enough time to do all the things that I'm looking to do. And as I'm sitting here reflecting on what all we've been through and what all we've seen, I feel like strangely, I'm not gonna come out of this experience exactly the same person. It's opened up my mind a lot further into what VR can actually do. It could be a way of life for some people. It could be their whole life. This could open up a life to people that have too much fear to leave their house, too much anxiety. It could open them up to a whole world that they could have never experienced before. And people who have lived before us that didn't have this may have missed out on life because of that, and this can change that for them. We're ready for it. I didn't think that either. I didn't think it was possible that I would get through this experience and think that I could keep going. If it wasn't for the things in my life that I do outside of this, if I was someone who stayed inside, I could do all my socializing in this, I could do all my fitness in this, I could be perfectly content to keep going. The only tough things really that I'm doing aren't realistic things that anyone's doing at the moment. Like I'm here with my air mattress, getting ready to strap my VR headset on and go to sleep with it on. That's part of this thing I'm pushing myself to do. But realistically, with what I've seen, I could get up and spend 12 to 14 hours in a VR headset and then go to bed.
The next day I went back, I got my Beat Saber in the morning, I got that exercise, got all sweaty, and that day was fine again. Our routines keep us in sync with the world, and not doing it that day really screwed me up. I don't know of anyone who can stream that much, that consistently, but I think that most people find it's very exhausting. Because it's not just about keeping a conversation. You are having to think about, like, is something going wrong with the stream? Is the quality up? You're monitoring all these things at once. I found some nights I went to bed a little earlier than I probably needed to, just because I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go watch a show on Netflix until I get tired.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Is today Tuesday? We are here at the end of day 7 now. Virtual reality gets thought of so much as just gaming at this point, and gaming is a big part of it, but I don't believe gaming is actually that big of a part of its future. I think that it will be still a gaming tool, but I think that it will be seen as so much more as far as work training and socializing, get-togethers. Speaking of that, all I did today was pretty much game in it. This has really changed my mind and my feelings a lot about where we're at in VR, because we're actually further along with the technology than I expected. This is theoretically possible, but I just really hope that when we figure out what exactly the metaverse is gonna be, that it's not something that one company is gonna run to steal all our money and data. I definitely wanna see what other people are thinking out there, because being in Neos is like we think we are the metaverse already. I think maybe VR chat or maybe even people in Rec Room wouldn't quite feel as opposed to Facebook, but maybe I'm wrong, I've been wrong about a lot of what this week in VR would be like, or these 10 days, whatever the heck it is we're doing at this point. I've lost total track of what day and time it is. Today, something really weird happened. I spent some time in VR chat, like I was planning to, and I noticed that people's avatars were starting to seem
like real. This is where I think VR still struggles the most. It does not always feel like real people, especially when I first got in there and I was playing a lot of different games I'd never played. Poker Stars has its own avatar. I've played a lot of Rec Room, which has its own avatars, and they all look different. I don't think of someone I've met virtually as a specific avatar because in every game I play with them, they always look different. You definitely in VR, you still know that no matter what you're doing, you're socializing with people, it's not real. You see a character and you hear a voice that you know the voice is them at least, and that's as close to you get as these feeling like real people. It had been so long since I had interacted with real people and I'd seen a real mouth movement, real hands moving while someone was talking, that it started to feel like these are people that I'm seeing. They move kind of like people and their heads bob and their hands move. And it was enough that my brain was starting to think, okay, I guess this is the only humans we're ever gonna see again. I guess I need to accept that these are humans. And of course your mind knows, no, they're not. What are you thinking? It's almost like you question yourself in the moment, like, what are you talking about? It's something that I cannot explain to someone who hasn't been in that situation and have them relate. That's where VR needs to get to that point. It needs to have emotional expression in it. But once it does, it's gonna get a little weird. Like for people who stay inside all the time and don't interact with people in real life, those will feel like real people. They might already. I had another really weird thing happen today. When I need to do something, I turn away from that monitor just like I do in my real space. And inside of the Steam VR home, there's these panels on the walls with games and apps and all that stuff. And there's always the one behind me with the recent apps. So I usually turn around and go to click on one of those. I try to stand up and turn around and start to walk to it today.
Why did I get up?
You pick up your controller, you turn around, you click on it with your controller. I think it takes your brain a week for things to start to feel more normal. I think doing this long, it's starting to have some weird side effects. I don't think it's anything dangerous or bad. I think it's just my brain is really trying to accept this reality that I've had it in for all this time, and it's starting to confuse my body a little bit. VR has a long ways to go in that. It's starting to get to the point where I'm so used to this being my reality that it's becoming natural and not clunky anymore. Someone who spends 24 hours in VR or even 5 days a week, I'm not sure they would have these experiences. It's like you have to really be pushing into it to start to feel these weird disconnects. And it's weird, but it's kind of cool at the same time because like when you first do VR, there's so many new experiences and your body gets all surprised by this and you don't expect these, visceral reactions. I'm starting to get a little bit of that even after 5 years of being in VR because it's starting to become like a home in here.
I don't even know what day it is anymore. We're almost at the end though. I'm starting to feel the ending approaching and feeling more and more excited. I feel like I want to eat without a headset on. I want to sleep without a headset on. And I want to go outside. I think it's also the streaming is starting to wear on me. I think constantly engaging with chat for, 9 straight days or whatever the heck it's been now. It's a lot, I really enjoy talking to people and stuff, but after a while, you just want to take a break and decompress. People might not guess it by the channel, but I'm a pretty introverted person. So this has been a very weird experience for me, having my whole life be on camera, having every second of the day people watching me and thinking about the fact that, all these people are there. I should probably be talking to them. I should probably be engaging with them. Because the channel's at a point where there's never been a time where the stream's been no one. There's always been someone here. Still, everything physically about me feels great. I think it's my mind at this point that's starting to wear a little thin and tired, and I think it's ready for a break. I'm looking forward to that.
We are sitting here on the 10th evening, which means at 10 a.m. tomorrow, we are through. We have made it. We're gonna stay in a couple hours because we gotta time some stuff out to finish out. So it'll probably end up about 10 days, 2 hours total. I feel like this whole experience has been not only so much easier than I expected, but the support. We have not had like a single hater show up in the comments. Some people come in and mess around or say they're worried about my eyes or something like that, but we haven't had like an actual troll this whole time. People have been really supportive, showing up today, some amazing donations, new members, a lot of subscribers.
subscribers, pulling for us. A lot of people from the VR community, some really big channels have shown up to say hey and show their support. So I think that's really cool. It shows that people are really tight-knit and they're really interested to see, you know, is this possible? Can we do this? And yeah, it's very possible. I'm working on the 10K project. I'm in Minecraft for hours and hours on end, and it reminds me that Minecraft VR, I could spend my whole life in that game. At this point, we're almost down to 12 hours left. I see no issue with crossing the finish line on this.
Good morning. I can't believe we're almost there.
So if you're thinking about, oh, I want to try this, I would recommend start small, 24 hours maybe, if you feel like you can do that. Don't just jump in for 10 days or say you're gonna do this for a whole month. Yes, the eye doctor gave me a clean bill of health, but we still don't know, was there any sort of lasting effects? You are gonna lose a lot of your life you could have spent doing something else. It was only 10 days, but I missed out on, you know, times with my wife, times with friends. I did this as an experiment to learn more about what VR is, where VR is at, what the metaverse coming could actually mean for all of us. And honestly, to entertain a lot of you who had asked questions, who were interested in it. These were the reasons I did this. If you're gonna do it, I would say do it for a reason. Don't just do it just because I'm not sure you're gonna come out of it with anything more than how you could have spent your life and enjoyed your life instead. It was an experience. I don't have any interest in trying it again, at least with technology in its current state. Maybe if a headset came out that allowed really good clear pass-through and it was really easy to sleep in and you could literally live your life with that headset on, maybe I would try this again. But until then, I don't see any enrichment in going and spending more time doing this because I think I learned enough in 10 days that I wouldn't have learned much more even if I had done 100 days. Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done! Oh my gosh. How's the skin doing? My hair probably looks really funky. Man, it feels weird to be out of there. My hair doesn't look nearly as bad as I expected. I feel like I kind of look like I'm rocking the Dwight haircut. I'm feeling good. I didn't sleep at all last night, which I also feel like doesn't actually show. 130 likes, $30 in donations, whatever, 60 people here right now for the ending. I'm gonna hang out and chat with all of you here for a minute if I can even freaking keep up with chat. It's going so fast. You look great, all things considered. Surprisingly, yeah. It's probably lost some hair. If I try and put it down, look, it's even worse. Look at that. Is the screen door effect visible in real life? Maybe. Hang on. Wow. I need to put my contacts in. Okay, there's that resolution I was promised. Wow. Seeing the trees and the leaves, I need to go outside. My head feels like it's weightless right now. Yeah, give Nat a huge thank you for all keeping me alive through all this. I would have died. Oh my God, it's so much brighter in here. The days in Minecraft are not this bright. My eyes, it's super bright. The smell, it's cold. I haven't experienced this kind of chilliness because I've been in one room inside all this time. It's like my senses are being overwhelmed a little bit. Oh boy, you cannot replicate this. That's the one thing. Virtual reality can do some amazing things and give you some amazing abilities, but it cannot replicate being outside. I think one thing people are like, oh, I wanna do this or I wanna try this. Realize what you're getting yourselves into. Even though I said, oh, it was a lot easier than I thought, it was still hard. I had someone taking care of my meals and things like that too. You know, I didn't just lock myself into VR by myself in a house and do everything in VR. I still had help. Gosh, it feels good to be outside though. I love VR, but I definitely think that the walks Nat and I take every day outside is so nice. I don't wanna ever live inside all the time. No matter how good the metaverse gets, no matter how good virtual reality gets, you still gotta go outside, in my opinion, at least once or twice a day, every day. I don't think it's good for your mental health to be inside all the time. I hear music. Probably copyrighted music too. Man, I've missed that more than I thought I would. I've missed copyrighted music. You can only listen to YouTube audio library for so long.
Would you recommend this experience to anyone?
No. As surprising as that's going to be to most people, I would not currently recommend VR in its current state to be your workplace, to be your entire social life, none of these things, unless you have some sort of circumstance, people who can't leave their homes, people who are bedridden, using it to travel. Unless you have to, I still think that it's just not quite ready. The world needs to have to move to VR before it will. When there's all of a sudden a reason that you have to start spending your time in VR, whether it's your job has moved to VR or what you do makes sense in VR, maybe you're a 3D modeler and things in 3D are just better in VR, until you have to move to it, it's gonna feel weird, it's gonna feel foreign, and it's gonna feel unprepared. Because even when I got in there and I had no choice but to figure out how to fix my stream from inside the headset, I had never done that. Until we are forced by some weird circumstance, it's hard and it's weird and it's jarring compared to what we're used to. But now that I've done it, I can do it.